I'm here in the beautiful town of Caparete in the north coast of the Dominican Republic. And I'm here with Linda Bahar from Linda Bahar Realty Group. Linda, thank you so much for making yourself available to answer a few questions that I'm sure a lot of people have here. So let me just start right away. You have been a realtor in the DR here for how many years?
Since 2021.
Excellent. And what made you decide to settle here and to start your business here, specifically in the North Coast?
When I decided to move to Dominican Republic, it was obviously the timing in the world was very different. We were going through different phases, and I have always dreamed of living somewhere tropical. You know, we're both from Canada. Our weather gets pretty cold. Dream, I had it always on my vision board to have a really nice house in a tropical place that I don't have to ever put up with cold again. And I guess that didn't take much. And during the pandemic, I decided to move here. And the reason I chose the North Coast, like I've done a lot of researches about all other tropical countries, and Dominican Republic just checked all the boxes, specifically on the North Coast. Number one reason is we knew some people that were already moving here, and I did a lot of research for the weather as well. We are in a safe haven up here on the North Coast. Another big reason is because I was a real estate investor and I knew that I wanted to get into real estate in the Dominican. It's very Airbnb friendly here instead of having all inclusive. I wanted to buy rental properties and rent it out. I obviously wanted to be somewhere that the return on investment was going to be good. And that's how I ended up here.
Excellent. So you touched already on a lot of topics, but let's just go back a little bit to weather because some people might be worried about hurricanes. Is there any fear of hurricanes here, specifically in the North Coast?
The way the Dominican Republic in general, especially the North Coast, the way we are located, it's a safe haven. We do not really get hurricanes here. And the reason being for that is in Dominican Republic, we are home to the biggest peaks of the mountains in the Caribbean that is called Pico Duarte. They are nicely laid in the middle of the islands. Most of the hurricanes, they come from Florida side, so they peak from the Santo Domingo and Punta Cana area. Those guys down there, they get a little bit of a harsher rain sometimes and the wind, but as soon as the wind tries to travel, it gets trapped in the mountains. Now, you might ask what happens if it comes from the north side. Obviously, poor Haiti, he get hit a lot, unfortunately. Costa Rica gets hit a lot. And when it comes from that way, the deep waters and the cold waters between us and Costa Rica demolishes the hurricanes. Like, to me, it's very safe, especially for my lifestyle that I have. I'm from Canada. I've lived here for 4 years almost, and I yet to see anything severe happen weather-wise. And we really haven't had any hurricanes in the last 200 years. There's good websites that you can go and check that for yourself.
Weather safety was definitely one of the aspects. Now, talking about safety, how safe is the DR?
I came here for 2 months before I decided to fully move here just to check the safety aspects of it for myself. I mean, in the area that we're in, it's very tourist driven. This country is home to a lot of tourists that come. Last year, we had phenomenal number that we broke records. So the government is very strong on protecting the tourism and snowbirds and everybody that comes here. And not just that, people rely a lot on tourism, on the money that they're making, especially in our town. And this is a tourist destination. So a lot of people make money just by servicing the tourists. You have two types of police on the road at all times. You have the guys with the white shirt and blue hats. That's the Politour, which is the tourism police. And you have the guys that wear an army, and that's the military that you have. And then you have the regular traffic police that wear gray. I go out of my house at all kinds of times, midnight, after midnight, early morning, afternoon, evening. And this is what I tell to people. If you don't do something back home, if you don't go to back alleys after midnight that you don't know where you are, just don't do the same thing here. You know, just
Common sense.
Exactly. If you use common sense, you're always going to be fine. I'm always kind to locals. This is a small town, you know, especially when you live here, people get to know you. And when you become one of them, become part of the community, everybody respects you. So would you like to be kind and have everybody to have your back? Or would you want to be that person that is always sour? So it's a common sense, and I would say I feel more safer here than most places that you go to.
And in regards to your clientele here, who do you cater to most? Is it investors? And then how is the investing market? Or is it more expats like Canadians, Americans, Europeans that perhaps for whatever reason want to leave their home country and settle here? Who is it that you deal with most?
It's all kind of people. We have a lot of investors. I specialize in investing. I helped a lot of people to relocate here as well. I deal with a lot of people that who want to become snowbirds, or they're already snowbirds, that they're in Canada for 6 months or in US for 6 months, and then they rent out their house here. A fair mix of all of them. We see a lot of investors nowadays come here because of the way the financials are in all over the world. People don't like to keep all their eggs in one basket.
So investing in the DR, is it a safe choice?
For me, absolutely. For me, it's safer to invest here than invest in any other economy right now, and I'll tell you the reason for it. Here, you own your land outright. You're not really always at the risk of what if one day. Most transactions here happens in cash. So when you buy your house, you own it. You buy your apartment, you own it. I feel like in most of other countries, the bank always got their hand on your property because you're financing it for such an extensive amount of time. So I've been in real estate for a while as an investor and then as a realtor. I yet to see many people keep their house for 25 years or 30 years that their loan is amortized on. They always change it. They buy more expensive home and they just never own it. It's just like a repetitive cycle, and you feel like this payment's never gonna end. We don't really see that here. Our buyers come, whatever they can afford, they buy cash, and if not, they get owner financing. So in a very short amount of time, they own their house. So to me, that's a safety net. On top of that, you're always in the area that people are looking to Airbnb. They're always looking for short-term or long-term rentals. So overall, I would say this place is way safer for me, and that's why I brought most of my assets here.
You did mention owner financing. For the listeners that perhaps don't know exactly what that means, could you just explain?
Well, it is very important for everyone that is watching this video to understand that in the Dominican Republic, financing through the bank is not really an option for us. You're going to hear a lot of people sugarcoat it sometimes, or a lot of banks advertising telling you that you can get a bank financing. But do yourself a favor. First of all, do your own due diligences and definitely try it out. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but I would say out of 100 cases, if 2 people get accepted, it's lucky. I always tell my client, I'm like, I don't want to waste your time. When I came here, I had 800 plus credit score. I had 50% down payment for the house that I wanted to buy. I had really good income. I had no debt other than my house in Canada, and everything else was owned cash. I still couldn't get approved. And I never have problem with approval. And I said, if I couldn't get approved, I doubt that many people will.
So what happened in your case then?
I owner financed it. Now I will finally get to your point of owner financing. That's a big solution for us here, and I'm very grateful that we have such an opportunity. In this case, the owner of the property extends private loan for the property. So, and the rule of thumb is usually 50% down payment, short-term financing, 5-year is maximum usually. You can find some amazing deals sometimes once in a blue moon that goes up to 10 years. But that's a really good opportunity to lock yourself in to financing through the owner. And the beauty of that is it doesn't go against your debt to service ratio.
Okay.
Right? So you can still leverage everything that you want to do. The lawyers always make sure that contract is well written to protect both sides. There is usually no penalty to early payoff if you finance through the bank. If you close off early, sell, pay off the mortgage, you have to pay for the interest if you're on a fixed mortgage. So this is what the owner financing does, and it's a savior for a lot who like to leverage other people's money instead of all of our money.
So Linda, if somebody might consider investing here, but they're just really unsure because first time ever investing outside of Canada or North America, it's a little bit of a scary thought. So how can you help? Obviously, you would help finding the property, but are you also offering a kind of all-round service where you not only introduce them to different projects, but where you also work together with a lawyer, a trusted lawyer, just to make sure that everything goes smoothly?
We do A to Z services. I was them at one point. Very scary, I understand, especially in an environment that you don't know anybody, you don't know the legalities. You pretty much are like a baby in that environment. When I started my business, especially now that we own our own brand, we are A to Z service. Literally, from the time that we get introduced to the time that you decide to come to the Dominican, you arrive at the airport, we pick you up, we get you to your location until you find a property, you close your property, you set up all your bills, you get to know the grocery store, you get to set up your Airbnb if you're an investor. We manage your property as well, only for the clients that we do business with. We do not extend our services to outsiders. People build relationship with us and they don't want to be bounced from person to person. The lawyer that you mentioned is probably more than the real estate company and your agent, your lawyer is important.
And one last question, if you don't mind to ask, what kind of costs, beside the purchasing costs, obviously, should somebody expect to be paying?
Your closing cost typically runs from 3% to 4%, and that includes your title search, title transfer, your attorney fee, registration. Everything pretty much is included in that 3 to 4% for your closing cost. In that 3 to 4%, 1% of that is the attorney fee. The lawyer's standard fee is usually 1% of the purchase price.
Excellent. Well, Linda, I want to thank you very much for answering all these questions, because I know how difficult it could be for somebody to make a decision to invest here. Linda will put her contact information at the end of the video as well. I would encourage all of you to reach out to Linda if you even in the slightest just consider investing or purchasing here in the north coast of the Dominican Republic.
Thank you very much for having us, and thank you very much for visiting me here. We look forward to having you back. Just come and check it out for yourself. Come and see it for yourself. Never hearing is like seeing it for yourself. We genuinely love showing off and showing around the island, this beautiful place that we live. So get in touch with us, and it'll be a pleasure to help you out, and maybe this becomes your destination as well. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very
Such a
much.
pleasure.